After that, we see the New Day in the ring, and they have a screen promo that pretty much they say they're going to teach PTP about POP, power of positivity, and they will regain their tag team titles. Neville then comes out, and then PTP comes out, so it's the New Day versus PTP and Neville. Not really much to say here. I mean, Kofi was working with quote-unquote injured ribs from the Money in the Bank ladder match last night, and really the only sequence that kind of mattered to me was the finish. Darren got a lot of in-ring time here, though, which I appreciated. I know you said at one point, like, I love how Darren Young hits the ropes, and he's always been, like, a great in-ring worker. I enjoy his stuff. But the finish comes where Kingston tries to get involved. Like, the whole match breaks down. Kingston gets a tag, tries taking out Darren Young, but then, he runs into some trouble. And then Darren Young gets the tag. He hits the gut buster on Kofi Kingston. Then he tags in Neville. And then both Titus and Darren are kind of like on the outside waiting in anticipation, and the crowd pop big for this. Neville hits the red arrow on Kingston, and he gets the pinfall victory. So PTP and Neville are victorious. Neville's still going strong. Like I said, I've been loving his booking. I really appreciated that it came down to him and Sheamus in the ladder match last night. And Neville's future is bright, man. He's probably the one guy. It's so funny because I'm always so uneasy about a lot of, like, great prospects. Even Bray Wyatt in this feud, I'm like, how's that going to go? Neville's probably the one guy that, for whatever reason, I just feel so secure and confident in where he's going. Because, again, I just feel like the booking has been really perfect for all intents and purposes since he arrived. So he's still going strong, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I was honestly kind of worried that he was going to get pinned tonight because Xavier Woods hit him with a really cool-looking jumping flatliner. And I thought that, like, oh my god, Xavier Woods has a new finisher, that's going to be it, and Neville's going to get pinned here. But no, Titus O'Neil broke it up, so it was all good.
Yeah, definitely. And, Neville gets the winning pin, which is great. Just love everything about what they're doing with Adrian Neville right now. I'm curious what he'll be doing for Battleground, because you definitely have to get him on the show. I wonder who he's going to be entering a feud with, potentially. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But
have I ever mentioned on this podcast how much I freaking love the way Darren Young hits the ropes?
No, you haven't on this podcast, but like I said, you mentioned it in conversation to me tonight, so that was pretty cool.
Oh my god. He hits the middle rope. Do you realize this?
Yeah.
He doesn't touch the top rope. He goes under it. He hits the middle rope. But, like, not in that Rey Mysterio way where it seems like he's forcing it. Like, it seems like he's using the middle rope because he feels like he can get more momentum from it. Like, he hits it that hard. It's that good.
Right.
I want to see, I literally want to see more Darren Young matches exclusively because I want to see him run the ropes more. How bad is that?
That's pretty bad. But
it's so good though. Like, if I was making a create a wrestler on a WWE 2K video game and there was an option where you could change how they run the ropes, I would pick Darren Young's rope running style. It's that cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I always feel like the guy's been solid, in ring. And
I don't think anyone's ever going to deny that Darren Young's a workhorse in the ring, but I'm just saying, like, specifically something that I think is amazing that he does different than anyone else. Just the way he runs the ropes. It's so simple. And, like, that's the thing too, is like Paul Heyman even said that he loved the way Austin ran the ropes when he was in WCW. So yeah, I'm kind of having that moment with Darren Young right now. Like, I'm not saying that he's going to be a gigantic megastar like Austin was, but there's definitely something there. And I freaking love the way he runs the ropes.
Excellent stuff, man. Hey, nothing wrong with that. And I think what you said, the line that really, I gravitated towards in that whole thing was nobody else does it. So it's definitely distinct to
And that's the thing too. Rey Mysterio used to do it, but the way, even if Rey Mysterio was still with the company and he still did it the same way that he's always done it, still nobody does it the way Darren Young does it, because Rey Mysterio, when he runs the ropes, he gets his entire back leaning up against the rope and then comes off of it. Darren Young goes one shoulder in and he just freaking, like, rubber bands the rope, man. Like, he hits it so hard that it literally bounces him back up. It's amazing.
Right. So good stuff there, definitely. Speaking of good stuff,
he's Randy Orton's age. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's Randy Orton. It's funny. He's Randy Orton's age, and Titus O'Neil is John Cena's age.
That's crazy. But we go from that to Dean Ambrose playing darts with a picture of Seth Rollins on the dartboard. And, Kane shows up. He starts to explain to Dean that, as director of operations, it's my duty to ensure that the authority, I guess talking about the whole announcement that he doesn't want Ambrose to crash it, but Ambrose is laughing all the way through it, and Kane asks him what's so funny, and he says, you. That's what's funny, and he pretty much explains to Kane that, I had a taste of the World Championship last night, and it was literally in my fingertips, and I lost it, and I won it again. I want another taste, and I will never stop chasing after it. And I just find it funny that a guy like you is just telling me all this when you're just a joke. Kane tells him that unlike you, Dean, I actually have been a former world champion. And Dean says, no, you were never a world champion. What you used to be, that was a world champion. Hellfire and Brimstone, Tombstone, everybody. I like that guy. This, he pretty much says again, you're the authority's lapdog. You're a joke. And Dean Ambrose reiterates that for you this is just a job. For me, this is my whole life. This is what I live for. And again, getting to experience that world championship for just a moment. I want another taste. I need another taste. And I will stop at nothing until I'm world champion because that's what I live for. And then he leaves Kane with the question, what do you live for? So there's been, again, a lot of pushing of Kane in this direction. I thought the babyface turn was going to happen, moons ago, but we're still kind of doing this tease. Really, whether they did it, in a nice amount of time or whether they drag it out, regardless, I don't care because it's Kane. He really is an older guy. It's not like this is some young guy that, may have been heel for all these years and they're experiencing their first babyface turn. He's like Big Show. He has these turns every year, on the clock. So not really much investment there, but I loved Ambrose's half of this whole segment here. I loved his promo. Just pretty much saying he'll stop at nothing until he is the man, he is the world champion. Love that. I hope they keep up this momentum for Ambrose, because I know I mentioned very prematurely to you in conversation, I would love to see Ambrose win the Rumble this year, but we are still 6-7 months away from that. So, yeah, I'm just hoping they can keep up this momentum.
Yeah. I mean, I love how much talk we're getting tonight of Kane's past. It's so weird that it's just randomly coming up like this.
Right. And, it's funny because in the authority segment that started the show, when they're discussing how to deal with Dean Ambrose, I saw Kane's mask in a glass case out of the corner of my eye. And I actually thought,
really?
Well, are we going to see? Yeah, I did.
Huh.
And I'm like, are we going to see Kane, remove the case and take the mask tonight? I mean, why is that there? But maybe, I don't know, maybe that'll be featured more prominently in the next few weeks. And Kane, you're not the demon anymore, you're this, and all that other stuff. Whether they do or don't, again, I honestly don't care. I'm just being honest, nothing against Kane. I do think he's very underappreciated, but it's Kane. He does good things, sure, but nothing that I can really get invested in. So that's pretty much that segment. Ashton, do you have anything you want to say before we get to the main event segment?
No.
All right. We come to the authority now, coming out to the ring. And Stephanie actually promises, first and foremost, actions against Kevin Owens for what he did to Machine Gun Kelly, because that's what's best for business. And Stephanie says, that's not just a slogan. I mean, that's how we run this company. That's our philosophy. And then Triple H starts running down the contenders. He assures everybody, don't worry, it won't be J&J, it won't be Kane, and it certainly won't be Dean Ambrose, which that gets a boo, and Stephanie picks up on it and says, they didn't like that. But I'll tell you somebody who did like it, Seth Rollins, who comes out of the ring, got the biggest grin on his face. And he says, you know what, I knew it, and now I just want to tell you guys it doesn't matter who it is, because you guys are right. You are right to have all this faith in me, to put all this trust in me. Nobody's taking this title from me, and I'm going to embarrass that person. I'm going to beat that person. I'm going to make you guys proud. Triple H says that, Seth, you're right. You have proven yourself. You've beaten Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and most recently Dean Ambrose, many more. You've definitely proven your point. And, it even begs the question, did you need anybody's help in the first place? Stephanie also reiterates, yes, we are proud of you, but you've also, kind of tested our patience a little bit, so you have a little more to prove. And Triple H says, we've invested everything in the future. And sometimes you have to take a step back and look at your investment and say whether it was worthwhile or if it's a sunk cost. And then I love the whole imagery Triple H paints here. He says, it's like a lump of coal. And when you put it under pressure, either it crumbles and becomes dust, or it becomes the diamond that you invested in. And then he tells Seth, it's time to put you under the pressure. How will you react to the pressure? Will you become dust? or will you be the diamond? And he's really riding that. And then before long, the music hits, the arrival of what everybody was anticipating, Brock Lesnar, to a huge pop. He's wearing a Suplex City shirt with Cleveland, Ohio written on it, which is great. I mean, totally babyface right down to the attire. Comes into the ring, and Ashton was really into this. So I'm going to actually let you explain what Lesnar and Rollins did here and just how you felt about it.
Dude, Seth Rollins is such a good actor. Seriously. Either that or he was legitimately pissing his pants.
Yeah, he would not make eye contact with Brock Lesnar here.
It was so good.
He like any way he could, he was averting Brock Lesnar's gaze. And Lesnar just kept that same kind of stoic look, like, yeah, I'm here, what are you going to do about it? And it got a loud Suplex City chant going. I'm so glad that that's caught on, because I think you can never have enough marketability with a phenomenon like Brock Lesnar. And Rollins starts to backpedal a little bit, goes out of the ring, looks at Triple H, pretty much says, you know, what is this? Triple H just kind of shrugs his shoulders and says, what? You can handle it, right? And Rollins walks up the ramp and, you know, stays on the stage, and he's just looking at Lesnar like, my championship reign and everything I did to achieve it just flashed before my eyes, because now that guy who's owed a return match is coming after me in 5 weeks at Battleground. So we have 2 matches set up for Battleground, and I like that we're continuing that trend, because it seems like lately, the past couple of months, WWE is pretty good about getting matches on the card early for their pay-per-views, and I really, really appreciate that. And we know that one of them is going to be Rollins and Brock Lesnar, which A, I think raises the value of Battleground as a pay-per-view, but B, and I thought that I would like more people to consider, you know, particularly in the comments if you'd like, where does that leave SummerSlam? Because I thought that was going to be the marquee matchup for SummerSlam, but if we're having it at Battleground, I mean, are we going to have a return match at SummerSlam or something new entirely? I've been hearing some things floating around. I would like to see what you guys think about it. So yeah, this is a really well done segment. I loved it. You loved it. And this is a great punctuation to Raw.
Yeah, absolutely. I love just how, I don't even think horrified is strong enough of a word to describe how scared shitless Seth Rollins truly was.
Oh, yeah.
And then the great thing is, it wasn't even just scared shitless. It was a combination of scared shitless, oh my god, I'm going to lose my title, can I even survive against this guy, much less beat him, and I seriously need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I loved it. Rollins' facial expressions are second to none. Yeah. Really, really good. Yeah. You know, this is the kind of stuff that made me say that before the arrival of Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins really was the top heel around here. I'm just loving the work that Owens is doing. But I can understand why people would still stick with Rollins after the kind of segment he had tonight, because, yeah, he's playing that character perfectly. It's like I've been saying for a while, because and not to go on a rant on any other commenters or, you know, YouTubers or whatever, but I love the people that say, oh, how can we buy, you know, into Rollins facing Lesnar, you know, with the way he's retaining his title, he doesn't look legitimate. It's never been about legitimacy for Rollins versus Lesnar. Never. To me, and I think I even said this on one tweet out to you, Ashton, the selling point is, if you order Battleground, you are guaranteed to watch one man rip Seth Rollins apart, and that man is the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. You know, that's what this match is about, and I feel like Rollins really sold that perfectly, because the look on his face, he knows he's going to get his ass beat, and we're going to be licking our chops, salivating, waiting for it for the next 5 weeks. You know, that, I just think it's really brilliant. So, yeah. That's the end of that segment.
And you did say that 2 weeks ago on Tweetwell, by the way.
Yeah, and then, you know, I think it rings even truer here. Like, that's the selling point. So really, even if I do have my own gripes about Seth Rollins' title reign, if this is kind of how it's going to end, if this is the finality of it, then Seth is really in the perfect spot. He's done everything, crossed every T, dotted every I, and it's just going to make Lesnar just so beloved. I don't even know where Battleground's being held, but hopefully it's a good crowd that really revels in Seth being torn apart. That said, I've got nothing more to say about this Raw. Do you, Ashton?
No, I mean, it was a solid Raw. Not really, apparently there weren't really a ton of talking points, because I feel like we didn't really have a ton to say, but I think that the 2 biggest things coming out of this are A, Brock's back, and B, something big is coming for the Divas division.
Definitely. I completely agree on all
counts. And C, Kevin Owens is amazing.
Definitely. I agree on all counts.